Hi, everyone. Welcome to Meditation Mount. It's wonderful to, Hello, everyone. Welcome to Meditation Mount. So it's wonderful to have everyone here tonight. My name is Kelly Jean. I'm the program manager here, and I'm going to be guiding you in a musical interpretation of the astrological symbolism of Capricorn. And then after that, we'll have Diana Lang, who will lead you in our beautiful full moon meditation and give us a talk about what's happening astrologically, what we're experiencing, what things could feel like. And if you've never been a part of our full moon meditations, they're very beautiful experiences. So just, you can pretty much go into a meditative experience as soon as I stop talking. The music is probably best appreciated with your eyes closed. So yeah, just get comfortable, and we really hope you enjoy your experience. All right, thanks.
Welcome, everyone. I'll start again. And thank you, Kelly Jean. That was beautiful. And hello, Zoom out there and everybody that's here. This is Meditation Mount, and we are dedicated to world service meditation. That's what we do. We hold for the whole planet. So you get to be part of that. We all get to be part of that. And it's a privilege, of the practice that we've built over our lives. And even if this is your first time, wow, what a meditation to be part of, right? And the ones of you that hold and know, this is a continuum, this constant note. And so there's a lot we could be talking about today about the energies right now. Obviously, the full moon energy, which always increases everything, amplifies everything. Whatever is happening, it's amplified. But it happily, in this very difficult year, this is one of the best full moons of the year. So that's nice, Today specifically, particularly, is a beautiful, beautiful, harmonious kind of energy, of full moon energy. So thank goodness, because it's been rough through this whole year and the last 2 years, since 2020 actually, so 3. So it's been a really difficult time, and we have another round to go, of this intensification that's happening across the planet, and this midwifing, this spiritual kind of evolution that we're moving through right now. We have this meditating right now just couldn't be more important, in your personal life, for your personal life, just to organize yourself to these energies, let alone to assist the whole planet to kind of move through these very turbulent times and to help, to assist world service, to serve to the highest good for all concerned, for the whole planet. So that's where we find ourselves, and this is the last full moon of the year, so that's big in its own right. We just had Hanukkah, we had the solstice, winter solstice, then we have Christmas, and there's the day after Christmas, we're having the full moon, and then comes the new year. So there's a lot of surge at the end of this period, which is very intense because winter, and the winter solstice particularly, is a time of going inward and inner reflection, and the leaves of the trees fall to the ground, and what's left are just branches, right? It's a time of going quiet. It's not a time of making fruit like the summer is, right? We have oranges, and we here in Ojai, right? We have the smell, the scent of Ojai when you drive in is neroli, right? It's orange blossoms. You can smell that. But this is the time of everything's going under, and it's a time of stillness. Meanwhile, the world's going 1,000 miles an hour, and it's Christmas, and it's New Year's, and we got to have plans, and it's just the total opposite of what the energy is. So it's nice to find kind of these points where you, on purpose, hold the energy for yourself, because it doesn't really matter what the world is doing. It matters what you're doing, because that's how we can affect anything, is to be that stillness within ourselves and to not be in reaction to everything that's happening around. These are basic meditation principles. And so there's 2 actions that we work with in esoteric meditation, which is part of what happens here, these old, ancient teachings. And we're working with the solar energy, which is in Capricorn. If you're born around now, you're a Capricorn. This is your birthday time. But it's lunar Cancer. So you may know a bit about Capricorn, that it's very, it climbs, right? And what I wrote to myself as a note is higher, 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 up and up and up, higher, 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 up and up and up. And what that is symbolic of is the disciple on the path, right? That we keep raising the vibration and raising the vibration and raising the vibration. So you're going up and up and up and up. Right? So you're trying to keep lifting. And it's hard because things kind of flatten us out, We get crushed under the weight of, what are we going to do about that situation? You're thinking of the oceans or the air or, the war or the wars, plural, right? And whatever we don't have a way, not all of us, but some of us do, have access to the ears of the ambassador or the presidents or the inventor that's going to learn how to clean the water or to make more food or all the things that the planet is needing right now. But some of us do have access, actually. And some of you are those people that are the inventors and the creators and the artists and the healers of the world. But meanwhile, what is that saying? Think globally, act locally, right? You do what you can where you're standing, right? That's the power you've got. So when you're on your hike up in the hills, you pick up the trash rather than going, why is there trash? Right? There is. And so we pick it up, So those kinds of things, those little things that we do and those big things that we do, whether it be to write a new song, like I think of John Lennon's song at the time when it came out, Imagine. It's an anthem, right? And it'll be classical, it'll be around for hundreds of years because it's an anthem, right? And there'll be another anthem that's coming now for these times that we are in, where we need to have these anchor points of the creatives of our world, the thinkers of our world, to be able to not be caught up in this world. Because otherwise it's just reaction, constant reaction. So in Capricorn, it's about walking up this sort of endless stairway to heaven, right? Up and up and up and up and higher and higher and higher. And you keep transmuting the energies, and even when you do get, knocked off or, you get back up again, There's this great Zen saying that says, fall down 7 times, get up 8, right? It's powerful. It doesn't matter how many times we fall down, we just keep getting back up again. And every time you get up, you're sort of refreshed and renewed and changed. And what didn't kill us, we got better from. It's like we get stronger from it. Our vibration becomes more solid, not so easy to knock it over. It takes more to knock it over because we're more and more stable. And those are all words of Capricorn. Stability, right? Constant upward movement. And the key phrase, the spiritual esoteric key phrase for Capricorn is, lost am I in light supernal, which is the most light, the most ineffable, unspeakable light, God force, universal light. Yet on that light I turn my back. And it's such a power. It's about the disciple or the aspirant on the path who meets the light, who actually finds it, is in it, is experienced and having the experience of it, and then brings it back. So it's not just for themselves. You bring it back to the world. You offer it. And so you have to turn away from it, though, to do that, which you don't want to when you've experienced enlightenment, or, we don't all experience enlightenment. I mean, that's a rare phenomenon, but it's hard to come back to this world that is more coarse, And in that light, there's not that, it's just harmony, pure harmony. And so that solar energy is, in Capricorn, is the father. It's ruled by Saturn, esoterically and exoterically. So it's Saturn, double Saturn, basically, And what is Saturn but the cosmic timekeeper in the sky, and the deadline guy, and dead, right? It's like a deadline is, when we die. That's the time that we've got to do the project or to live the life, whatever it is. And so Saturn rules time. And Saturn rules karma. And so, again, with karma, there's a lot of, I'm not going to talk about that today so much, but just to know that consciousness is always only evolving. So there's a lot of stories you'll hear, and when you first encounter spiritual things, they'll say, oh, I'm going to turn into a roach in my next life, because you've done these bad things. But it never moves like that. It's always more. It's always better. It's always going forward. And we kind of pick up where we left off. So even from day to day, when you think of sleeping, when we kind of return to that essence of ourself, and then we wake up again, and the day begins again. And we pick up where we left off, basically. And it works like that in death as well. We pick up where we left off. So everything you do in this lifetime, everything, is part of it, right? And where we get to, even if it's a slow go, sometimes it is, right? It seems going backwards at times. We're not. We're still going forward. And the place that you leave it is extremely important. And that's that higher, up and up and up. You keep walking the stairs of Capricorn, up and up and up to infinity in a way, because everything's in evolution, including all universal consciousness, is also in evolution. It's not fixed. So it's this big dance, this dance. And then lunar, the moon is in lunar Cancer, which it loves to be in. It's a beautiful sign for the moon. It's very sentimental. It's very sensitive. That's the key word for full moon in Cancer: sensitive, psychic, feeling. So we've got these two kind of always opposite, because the full moon is always the opposite sign of the sign that we're in. So it's always opposite. So we're working with the pairs of opposites. That's the work of this, is to balance the energies between the pairs. So we've got this kind of very serious business of Capricorn, and it is very serious business. And we've got this sensitive energy, like you may be feeling this quite a bit. So on the planet where we are, we're more dealing with the kind of emotional aspect of how do you process all this stuff that we're in. Right? So it's so powerful. So you were working with that yin and yang, right? Those two opposite points. So you may be feeling all of that, either very directed and sure, or you may be feeling extremely sensitive. And because this is the end of the year, and we just had solstice as well, I talk about this when I do the winter solstice program. I talk about the idea that, when we do the winter solstice, we go in and we find our soul's next step, and then we work with that all year long. And at the end of the year, we have to put it down, right? You have to put it down, and I call it on the altar. Put it down on the altar. It's sort of an invisible altar, like in this holy way you place it. And so this year that we've been working in and with, everything you've been learning, seeing, experiencing, being, all the things that have happened, you take all of 2023 and you go, and there's flowers all around it, and seashells, and the things that you would decorate this year with to bless this year no matter what it was. And I don't know many people that have had an easy year this year. It's been intense. And so, but you put it down with grace, right? You offer it back to bring in the energy of this coming year. That's all brand new and will be also intense, because it's just that time of the time. When I was a child, I learned astrology as really young, like at 2, 3. My dad was an astrologer, so he would show me the planets, and I learned about patterns and archetypes and all these things that kids don't usually know. And I knew the planets before I knew my numbers. It was just part of my awareness, right? And by 5 and 6 and 7, I did every single person's chart I ever met, which I have thousands and thousands of horoscopes that I've done in my life, right? So you learn things about patterns and archetypes and people and humanity and what we do and what we're given, and sort of the opportunity of a life, because it's a map, right? You could do this. You don't have to do this, but you could do this. There's this opportunity in there. And what stops it, and what slows it down, and what excites it, and what encourages it, and all of that's in a chart, like this cosmic spiritual map of our life. And as a young person, by 10, I'm reading everything that's known. I've read every book by, on astrology, obviously, but everything. I was reading, Alice Bailey when I was 14, which is young for that. It's pretty dense material. So it had this strange kind of unusual education. But anyway, we wondered, me and my couple of astrologer friends, what was going to happen in 2020. I wonder what's going to happen in 2020, because it was so intense, between 2020 and 2025, right? And look what's happened. And who would have ever guessed in a million years that it would be a flu, basically, that brought the world to its knees, stopped the world completely. We just stopped. And then all the fallout and the things that happened and ever and after and the polarization and the never wear a mask, always wear a mask. And all that was in every place that we looked, polarization was happening in our world. Even in spiritual communities, right? In the yoga community or in the meditation community, but obviously in the church and in the politics and everywhere we look, there's this division, which is partly what we're trying to bridge right now. And we, conscious souls, as conscious souls, that's our responsibility to help bridge this period. We get to do that. And so it's very important to not add fuel to the fires that are everywhere you look, but to bring love, right? To move from the heart and drive in traffic from your heart, and to solve a problem from your heart and to make money from your heart, like everything, whatever, any subject, raise children, teach children from the heart, to live and breathe through our heart, to exercise through our heart. And it's really different when you think of, I've been calling it the personality's goals versus the soul's goal isn't the same. The soul doesn't care if you gain 5 pounds or 50 pounds or if you should start a running program. It is not about that. It's higher and higher and up, higher and higher and up and up. And it just keeps raising and raising and raising. And so we get to do that. We have this opportunity and to work with these energies. So in Capricorn, it's the goat, right? It walks up the hills. And have you ever seen those pictures where the goats are like hanging on the edge of a cliff? They're just like, they've got like 3 inches, 1 inch, and they're just sort of on this little ledge. It can be like that at times for the goat. And it doesn't lose its balance, which is a good thing to remember these days, not to lose our balance. And so the lower kind of world expression of Capricorn is the goat. But the higher expression, the esoteric expression of Capricorn is the unicorn. So this mystical beast, right? And the 2 horns become 1 horn, which comes right out of the ajna center, the third eye point, right? So this focalizer point that is where we meditate from, and we'll do that in our meditation. And it's the actuator, right? And it's magic, right? And those Saturn energies also rule the first ray, will and power. So the idea of moving things. And so when you work with the ajna center, that's about moving things that are from within to without. So if you have a song in your heart, it comes through that third eye. Well, it comes from the heart, then it goes to the third eye, and then it's expressed, right? Then it goes out. And so if you have an idea, it's all that same, that is the motion of creation. It's actually got a motion to it that's studied and has graphs and charts that you can see how it actually works, that goes from the spark to the actualization or the manifestation of something. And so that unicorn energy, I love the idea of, because it's magical, it's mythical. And so we're going from the ordinary to the magical. So we're working with that energy too right now. So there's a lot going on, So, but it's a good full moon, and that's good. And the other thing I wanted to just mention is the idea of this karmic path of Saturn and Saturn's energy of karma. That also, and I'm saying this to you all that are here, because most of you have meditated before or quite a bit. And even if you haven't, then wow, see, you're coming in on the merry-go-round when it's spinning pretty fast if you're here tonight. So there's a reason that you're here today like this, especially if it's your first time. But that energy of the karmic energy is, as you walk in the beginning as a kind of new one, we come new into the world, we've got a lot of slack. The road gets very wide. You can make a lot of mistakes. You can do a lot of things and kind of live and learn, along the way. But as you raise your awareness and raise your consciousness, the path, they call it, gets narrower and narrower. There's not as much slack. And there are more consequences, oddly. Like you can't get away with stuff in the same way you can when you're new. It's like there's a lot of, close enough, like we do with children, It's like, oh, that was good, But as you are more practiced, the path gets narrow and narrow until it gets to what's called a razor's edge, right? And so then then the words like impeccability come in, right? There's no motion and if there is, it's more like this. It's like a quick balance, right? It's not like crash to the ground. You're balancing all the time, which means you're conscious all the time. So after a while, when you have a meditation practice, a real live meditation practice, pretty soon, that means like a daily practice, right? Whatever it is, 1 minute, 2 hours, whatever people do. Everybody does. I've done everything in my meditation practice. That pretty soon, when you really have that established, pretty soon you're meditating all the time. Like there's no time when you're not nearby or on it, your meditation, in a way. And so you start to live your life in this very conscious way, so that you start to realize every word we speak has an effect, right? Obviously. Any action we take has an effect. But then it gets more subtle as any thought we think has an effect, right? And so we become responsible to that, right? And so that's something wonderful if you start to think about it. It's not like, oh, you made a mistake. It's not that. It's just you don't want to do any harm. You don't want to harm anyone about anything, Anyway, so those are some ideas that are in this full moon energy. And as we put 2023 down, because I want to say that, we're almost there. Just put it down in love, no matter what happened. If it was the worst year of your life, still, thank you, Thank you, gratitude for it, because it did make you stronger, even if it doesn't seem like it did. And it did change you, and it did grow us, and it has made us better. And when you remember that, there's not as much regret or feeling sorry for ourselves. Oh, it was really hard. It was really hard. and it was for everyone. So we put that down with this grace, and we offer it back into all the flow of universal energy to all things. And then we start to step into what this next year will bring. And I might bring that into our meditation. I'll see how it flows. To maybe call in, what is your spiritual next step? Isn't that a good question? We know what our personalities' jobs are to do, that's what New Year's resolutions are. But what about your soul's next step for you? Wonder what that would be. So I might leave a space for that, to let that come in, because that would be very powerful. And if you do that, write that down, Write it down. I write things on my arm all the time, things I'm working on, or write it on somewhere so you recall it, so that it becomes something that becomes alive to you. What is my next spiritual step? And just receive it like this gift that it is. So I think this is a good place. Maybe we can go into the meditation. Let's see. Yeah, so if you just take a minute and just stretch your legs and then get comfortable again so you're at ease in your body. And inside the meditation, we'll have about 10 minutes of silence, and I'll tell you when that happens. And then you can just kind of be in your own creation there. And that might be where we do some work, you know. But just you can just allow to whatever happens, whatever's supposed to happen, happens. So just trust the process and sort of empty any preconceived ideas that might even be there already, but to just let yourself be present. And if there was one spiritual practice that I could give you forevermore, and you only had one in your pocket, it would be presence, right? Then you could add things to that, of course. There's 1,000 things, love and non-judgment, but presence first. You have to be there for it, right? We have to be there. So what is meditation but a practice in presence? So when you're ready to, make yourself comfortable. Yeah, and just close your eyes. And just notice how you are. Check in with yourself. And we'll do a few conscious breaths to organize the bodies. There's 7 bodies. We're just working with the main ones right now. So as you take a breath, we're going to use our first exhalation, our conscious exhalation, to balance the physical body. So when you're ready to, take a breath, inhale. And as you exhale, balancing the physical body, Om. And just feel all the tension in your neck, shoulders, chest, fingers, eyelids, face, scalp, feet, wherever it is, just let it out and go. Let it go into the earth. Let it go into the earth that uses that energy to grow flowers with. Let it go. And then we'll balance the emotional body. And this is what constantly is in flux all the time, of our moods and how we feel and what's happening on this full moon in Cancer. Very feeling moon, right? Very sensitive moon. You take a breath, inhale. And as you exhale, balancing the emotional body, Om. And see, we were calibrating with each other. And this is an exact time, full moon meditation today. It's happening right now, this minute. And so there's millions of other meditators around the globe that are holding this energy too. And we're calibrating together a unified consciousness of love. Then finally, and the hardest one I feel usually, everybody's a little different with this, is the mental field. Because the mind, the brain, is a thinking apparatus. That's what it does, that's what it does, that's what it does. It thinks, 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 thinks. And that's what it's supposed to do. So on this next breath, we'll balance the mental body to come into stillness. Inhale. Exhale. Balancing the mental body. Om. And you can feel it in the room, it shifts. And all that mind stuff, that mind matter, falls to the ground and into the earth and makes flowers. So all that thinking drops away, and you step into the space of the heart center, the heart chakra, breathing through the heart chakra gently, softly, and sense the flower in your heart. And as you breathe through the heart chakra, you can sense the petals opening of your own heart chakra. And gently sense, because the heart chakra connects all things, all things, that we can connect heart to heart to heart to heart to heart to heart with all of us here and around the planet. All hearts. We connect to all hearts. And you feel the light of your own heart, your own unique light. That is your grace. That is your gift. And you can say from your heart chakra right now, say from this place, all blessings to all beings. Om. Good. And then from the heart center, feeling from the soles of your feet, the earth, nature, the mother. And from your heart chakra, upward, right, letting a line of silver light move from the heart chakra up into the head center. And the head center is a few inches back into the head. And sometimes, in the ancient ways, it's called the cave center, the cave. And you take your seat in the cave. And in this space now, breathing gently through the third eye. Gently breathing through the third eye. And as you do this, you may notice some things. And whatever you notice, just notice. But a sense of light, literally or figuratively in some way, symbolically, or quite literally light. Breathing through that head center until that light sense becomes brighter. And this is the unicorn point, right? This is where the horn comes from. But we're staying in the cave right now. Taking your seat in consciousness. Take your seat here. Remembering that you are soul in a body. And you sense this presence of the soul now. And as I say this, sense the presence of the overlighting soul. Feel the crown chakra, the top of the head open. And from here, say this phrase just gently, if you wish. I and the soul are one. See if you can sense the overlighting presence of the soul and the soul's connection directly to all the masters and teachers through the heart of the sun to Shambhala. All the way to the heart of Sirius. And all of these connections are heart of your heart, heart of mind, heart of consciousness, heart of soul, heart of Shambhala, heart of sun. heart of the universe. And just gently from this place, feel this complex, beautiful, pristine, harmonious lines of energy, of divine love and divine wisdom, right here, right now, in you, as us. And still, having taken your seat in the cave center, become aware of this past year and all that it has been, and gently and with gratitude, place it on the altar, giving it back, letting this year be put down consciously, and letting all that energy move into the planet, into the earth, making flowers and trees, mountains, ocean. So that you're standing ready to receive this next spiritual step. So I'm going to use this seed thought to take us into the silence now, and also to perhaps receive your next spiritual step. I stand as light supernal, light to light, light to light, higher and higher and up and up. I stand as light supernal and sense inside of this the gift of this full moon energy, the alignment with what is coming through right now for the planet and for you, and perhaps a sense of what that spiritual step might be in the form of a word or a phrase that is given to you from light. I stand in light, supernal. And in this ineffable light, I begin to know my next spiritual step. It is given. And I receive it. I stand in light supernal. And you feel that radiance shining upon you. And out of that developing into more and more consciousness, your particular next step spiritually. You receive it. And it's placed in your hands or your mind as a symbol or a word or a sound, as a knowing that becomes yours. Right, and then gently receiving this, you turn away from that light, turning back to the world, and you offer blessings to all beings, highest good for all beings, love to all beings, peace to all beings. Through that unicorn horn, we shine it out to the earth, to our beautiful blue planet. And then you start to notice your breath gently again, letting it get deeper and fuller. Until it starts to feel natural to transition out of this meditation when you're ready to. Feeling your feet on the ground. And we'll close with the great invocation followed by 3 ohms. So just to seal it like a mandala, this whole meditation, this whole experience and what you understand now, this new now. And if you know it, you can say it with me. I'm just listening gently. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into all human minds. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into all human hearts. May the coming one return to earth. From the center, where the will of God is known, let purpose guide all little human wills, the purpose which the wise ones know and serve. From the center, which we call the human race, Let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Thank you, everyone from Meditation Mount and everyone here that helped put this together, and Kelly Jean and Joey and all the people that work here, and this place for existing, and you for existing and being here today. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. January 24th, something like that, is the full moon next month. Well, you'll get it in your email if you're interested in that. Thank you for being part of this today. Thank you. Thank you.